We are live at Empower 360 podcast. And at Empower 360, we give purpose and enlightenment to humanity. We do this to empower people to do what inspires them, whereas we dip into the transformative power of personal growth, leadership, and inspiration. I am your host, and my name is Enoch Chanimbe, co-hosting this event with Lily Efa, and we are here to guide you on a journey of empowerment, providing you with the tools, insights, and stories you need to unlock your full potential and live your best life. Join us each and every 2 weeks as we explore the secrets to success, hear from inspiring speakers, and embark on a quest for personal and professional growth. Get ready to elevate your mindset, ignite your passion, and unleash your greatness with Empower 360. Our topic for today is the road to career success, the alternative step we always ignore. And our guest today is a graduate of automotive engineering and a certified bus and truck driver by profession, living in Germany. He's held positions as bus driver of the VIP German Bus Transport Company, a transport manager with Indo-Ghana Limited, a personal driver to the general manager of Ala Foods, a personal driver at International Travel Exchange, professional truck driver, and haulage transport with Global Wheels Company Limited. Experienced in transporting loads of up to 60 tons. And lastly, a German certified bus and truck driver actively driving a tourist bus from Germany across Europe with Rick Touristic GmbH. His biggest achievement is an accident-free career as a heavy-duty driver with over 8 years of heavy-duty driving experience. Ladies and gentlemen, James Opoku Frimpong. James, please, your audience, your speaker. Thank you.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you, depending on where you find yourself around the globe. Before I begin, I would like to thank the host, Enoch, and our co-host, Lily, for having me here. I appreciate you having me here today. I would again want to thank our previous speakers, Dr. Corantin Osei Collins, Dr. Boaje Rosemond, and our very own colleague, Ibn Zajumo. And to all the other colleagues, I couldn't mention their names. I say thank you for empowering us in your previous spaces. Yes, I chose this topic today to enlighten us, to bring us to our realization that there's been a lot of failures, a lot of mistakes we've done in our career paths. And this is the reason a lot of us find ourselves in places where we are happily working, we are making money, but we feel like we don't belong there. So to this regard, I named my topic for today, The Road to Career Success, Alternative Career Steps We Always Ignore. And without much ado, I wouldn't take so much of your time. I'll try to keep it as brief as possible so we could stay within a time frame of 45 minutes. Then open up for further questions, and hopefully I know we're going to take something out of this. So fast forward. This presentation cuts across Africa, but because I'm from Ghana, I'll try to use Ghana as a case study so we can all fully understand where I'm coming from and what I am trying to mean. But it cuts across Africa. It's a problem across Africa, and it's largely a problem for our youth. So between the ages of 12 or 13 all the way down to about 24, This is a huge problem for us. Yeah. So as we all know, that you go through your primary school where you have about 6 years of primary education. Then after the primary school, you do upper primary, which we mostly term as the junior high school, which lasts for about 3 years. Then you sit in to write the basic education certificate examination, which all West African countries do, organized by the West African Examination Council, or WAEC. And from there, you progress to the senior high school. And for me, I feel this is where the biggest problem when it comes to career guidance and career choices comes from. And I'll elaborate more so we could understand what exactly I'm trying to talk about and why I justify that as the biggest problem with career. So you do 3 or 4 years depending on where you find yourself in the high school, right? But at the upper primary level or the junior high school level, once you're done, now comes the path where you have to choose what you have to do for your future. And believe you me, most of us here, given the kind of setting and background we grew up from, always have our guardians and our parents choosing something for us. And it's widely perceived that doing a white-collar job makes you, socially, and so makes you socially respectable, makes you something good for the society. By that I mean to say, all those who do the white-collar jobs with the ties and then the big suits are those we value, we regard so much as successful people in our society. And that perception or that notion has led a lot of us into choosing the wrong careers, into selecting the wrong choices for us that today we regret the most, that we can't do anything about it. And it's been a system that has been there for a long time. It's the same ditch that we're all driving into. Our predecessors have driven into it. We have also driven into it, and we are looking forward that in the future, the generation after us would also drive into the same ditch. Whereas there are other opportunities we could have explored, there are other channels we could have explored and gone through, we just listened to the wrong choices and decided not to follow our hearts and follow our guidance. So like I was saying, this is where we have the biggest problem. This is where we get everything wrong. This is the point where career begins from. So if you're going to the high schools, that is where you're going to do usually the general arts, that's the reading subjects. You're going to do the geographies, the history, the government, the economics, the religious education. You're going to do the home economics programs, the visual arts, the general sciences, the biology, chemistry, physics. You're going to do the business courses, the accounting, the economics, the human management resource. These are where everything begins from. Everything you're going to be in the future begins from. And at this level, we're able to tell our individual strongholds and know our IQ levels. So from this point, which is ushering you from the junior high school level into the senior high school level, you already know your strength. You know what subjects you're good at. You already know your IQ level. But then we still proceed and we still go into the failure of a system because we want to be in ties and in suits. So, in view of this, I would want to speak more about the alternative choices that we often neglect because we feel these are choices that are for candidates with very low IQs. And you and I know for sure that, if our colleague decides not to proceed on the path that we are proceeding on, not to go to the high school, to do the businesses, the general arts, the home economics, and the science-related programs, and decides to go initiate him or herself in some kind of trade, for the same given time period where we are in school, we come home, see them, and then we laugh at them. We come home, we see them, and then we make them feel so little. We belittle them because of inferiority complex. Because we feel, we are learning. We are going through school to learn. We are going through the normal curriculum to learn something. You've decided to be a school dropout, and so you are below us. And that is a failure of a mindset. No, anybody who thinks like that is as fickle-minded as in anything that is beyond usefulness. Any individual who thinks in this way is so fickle-minded that you can be compared to anything below usefulness. Anything that has lost its usefulness. Not to say that people are not right in their thinking, but that is so foul of a thinking process. You are going through the same 3 or 4 years studying, reading courses. Even in your vacations, in your long summer breaks, you come back and then the worst you can do is go for vacation classes, which doesn't build your skill. You only build your memory with reading and even stress your head. On the other hand, this person is going into a field where he or she can acquire a skill, and in the process of skill acquisition can also build up some knowledge, and practical knowledge for that matter, and practicalize what he or she has learned. Both of you, who is more useful? No, I would go in for the person who has acquired a skill over this given time period. So we prioritize things that are being studied in this monotonous system. They're reading any relevant sequence of studies that are being subjected on us, that are being forced on us over skill acquisition. And for any country that wants to go into industrial revolution, any country that wants to really, really develop, then it's a doomsday for us. And that is how come we've had a lot of graduates. Now we have about 60% of our graduates at home, not finding jobs to do. And we can attest to this, given the recent occurrence in the banking system where we had a whole banking revamp, where the banking system was overhauled. About 2/3 of the banks were closed down. A lot of our colleagues who were working with their degrees in banking and finance, human resource administration, what have you not, business administration, who were all working in the banks, are now home. A few of them were fortunate enough to have gone into this online ride-hailing business, this Uber, this Bolt stuff. But is that what you really want to do? That is not where your passion lies. And so it's now become more of a hand-to-mouth kind of thing. But had you acquired a skill along the line, in addition to your banking and finance, your human resource, your business administration, you probably might have fallen on that skill now when things are rough to survive. This is what we're talking about. This is where we're coming from when we're talking about alternative career guidance and alternative career choices. So comparing these two systems, where you go through the monotonous, bogus, and useless system of an educational system, just go through, do the reading. Whereas you could have gone through vocational programs where you can have a lot of vocational skill. And there are a lot of vocational institutes out there. So we have the TVET, the Technical and Vocational Educational Training. We have the TVI, the Technical and Vocational Institutions. We have the CODVET, the Council for Technical and Vocational Education and Training. We have the NVTI, National Vocational Training Institute. And we have the NAPTEX, which is more like the regulatory body for all of these vocational institutes. So the National Board for Professional and Technical Examinations. Just like in Germany. I mean, now the system has changed a bit where the generation now is not willing to learn anything new. But back in the time, any German will tell you, or you can even do your own research online. Right after high school, they were compelled to go into vocational education. So you go and do a 3-year vocational education, which they call the Ausbildung. It translates to vocational education. And after you are done with this process, you come out as a skilled person. So within the process itself, you are learning to acquire a skill. You're being paid something as a support or something more like a grant for you to motivate you to learn. And you get to do internships. You get to work on the field as well whilst you're in your study. So you come out and then you have a lot of experience. You already have 3 years of working experience. No, that system applies to them here in Germany after high school. But then, we are more fortunate to have had some of these systems already in place right after upper primary, when you're being ushered into the high schools. We have a lot of vocational institutions which offer a lot of programs, wide range programs. And these programs are very, very good programs that you just don't get the certificate, but you get the knowledge and the practical aspect of it. So for instance, if you go into any of the technical institutions, and there are a wide range of courses, a lot of courses, I can't even mention them, a lot, depending on what you want to do, whether civil engineering, whether leather technology and shoemaking, whether sewing, whether animal husbandry, whether farming, whether you want to go into civil engineering, you want to go into automotive engineering, mechanical engineering. There are a lot of fields. I just can't mention them. You get a certificate called the NVTI 1. So for the 3 years where your colleagues are doing 3 years or the 4 years in the senior high schools, you are getting every year certificate 1 for the number of years you are there. And it's a 3-year program. So you have an NVTI certificate 1, NVTI certificate 2, NVTI certificate 3. For the 3 years that you are there, learning a skill, learning a trade to equip yourself. No, let's not downplay the fact that, or let's not look down upon ourselves in such a way that vocational training and education is solely for people with a low IQ. You are not wiser. You're not wiser than our first and premier president we had on this land, Kwame Nkrumah. You're not wiser than him, where he prioritized vocational education over everything. How many people at the time had attended universities? But we had a lot of factories. We even had at a point in our history here in Ghana, a car making factory where we did the Barefoots, and we had all these big factories, the Keyhawk, can't even mention them and name them. And we had our own workers who worked in these factories here. Matches making factories. Why? Because we had the vocational skill to do it. And so it's very necessary for us to go into this vocational education. And for me, I'll say after high school, I tried my hands on a lot of things before I got to where I've gotten to now. So once I went through the high school, and I was so unfortunate to have gone through the 4-year period, I went through my high school. I studied general arts, which my electives were geography, history, economics, and government. Right after I was done with high school, I noticed I've wasted 4 good years of my life on something very, very unnecessary. 4 good years of my life studying basically nonsense. Permit my words, but you need to know the realities of life and how these career choices we make impact our lives. So I was done with high school. I started working with a microfinance, one of the big microfinances in Ghana. And they fall under the umbrella of a mining company. I worked there for 2 years, built my experience as a credit officer in the microfinance sector. And then I felt like, okay, once I'm already here, why not upgrade myself? And after the upgrade, then I can retain my position and even advance through the career path of the finance system. So then I enrolled in Accra Polytechnic to do accountancy. After my first 2 years in accountancy, I noticed that I just wasted my time. I noticed that all I did was just a bunch of waste of time. So I had to stop, go out, and then reapply for an engineering program. If I had had this advice right from my upper primary level, I wouldn't have gone through all these channels, wasted all my time. About 6 to 8 years of my life before I went into something productive. So it is a big problem. It is a big problem. We've done it. I've seen older generations do it, go through the same ditch. We have gone through it, and now we are looking. We're just looking on, whilst the generation right after us are going through the same thing. It's hard time we sat them down to advise them on how they should plan their lives, how they should position their lives and strategize in their career making path, because this is where we've been as a nation, and this is why we are still where we are as a nation. It's because we are not useful. We can't do anything. We can't serve any good purpose apart from holding a pen in our hands, wearing a white shirt and putting on a tie or a suit. We can't do anything useful at all in our lives. So it's something we have to look out for. It's something we really have to look out for. So after doing this in upper primary, where now you have the opportunity to go through any of the technical institutions for a high school, then you come out with your NVTI Certificate 3. It's equally as valuable as the WASI certificate you hold. Don't let anybody lie to you. If you hold an NVTI 3 and somebody holds a WASI certificate, it's equally the same. In fact, you're even more skilled and more valuable than he who holds that WASI certificate. But you see, the system has been structured and has been positioned in such a way that they make it look as if the person holding the WASI certificate is of more importance and of more value than you, the one with the technical background who has a lot of technical knowledge in you. So, like I'm saying, there are a lot of programs. So now, once you're done and then you have this certificate, now you have two choices. Either you go directly to the Polytechnic to do an HND program, or if your grades weren't so good, that will qualify you directly to do an HND program. Even at the Polytechnic level, there are programs that are sub under the HND that are equally the same thing. So let's say, for instance, you studied civil engineering at the upper primary level, or let's say at the high school level, at the high school level, where you have your NVTI 3 in civil engineering. Now you come to the Polytechnic level, you have what we call CET, So civil engineering technician, that is also 3-year course. So you have technician 1, technician 2, technician 3. If you have technician 3, it's as equal as someone who also holds an HND. The difference here is you are even more equipped than the person who holds a straight HND. 2, you have 3 different certificates for every given year. And so it's even an advantage. If you're working, you can still work in between. Maybe you've already initiated yourself in some kind of trade somewhere that you're learning. You can do the school knowledge, build the school knowledge where you have the right technicalities, you have the right knowledge, and then you apply it on the field whilst you're there. And whilst you're working in your trade, you're meeting the challenges day in, day out. You are applying the knowledge. You are learning things that the school is also not teaching you. See, so it's a win-win situation. But we just look down on these things. I don't know if we don't think about it when we are making the career decisions, or we just feel, oh, these career paths are for people with low IQ. These are menial and lower class jobs. That when I do them, my friends will laugh at me. I'll tell you something for a fact now. Life is not about your friend. Life has nothing to do with your friend. Your friend has his own life to live. He has his own life to account for. If they are being so childish enough that they can't figure out that let me find out a way to also put my life on my own spot and not concentrate on the life of others, where I would make others feel so inferior to what they are doing. But then because they are not doing what I'm doing, and it's human nature, because they are not doing what I'm doing, and so I have to make them feel inferior. It's so naive a way of thinking. And I hate to use the word stupid, but it's so foolish of us as humans to do that. Especially when the other that you look down upon and you frown upon is even of much higher value than what you are doing. See, so there are a lot of programs out there that when you're done with these technician programs and you even go to apply for a job with somebody who has a degree, you, the technician, will be employed over the person who has a degree. And mark my words, you can try it. If you want to find out if what I'm saying is true, you can place a call or go directly to the ECG offices and find out for yourself. Go directly to Guinness Ghana and find out for yourselves. Where do they employ their technicians from? And what kind of qualifications do they employ from? Yes, it's good to have your degree. But then, a degree without a skill is just nothing. It's just a paper. No, don't get me wrong. I'm here challenging us to learn a skill in addition to whatever degree we have or whatever knowledge we have, because it comes in handy. Even if you travel outside, gone are the days where people used to tell us, oh, if you travel and you know how to do something, you have a skill. They tell you to try whatever you can do. If you try it and then it proves worth it, you get employed, which is a different scenario, a different ball game here in Germany. Here you have to do a vocational training for whatever skill you do. But if you have a skill, it helps you. It helps you. And I'll use myself as an example. So you know what I'm talking about. The minimum you can pay for a license B here in Germany, is about 3,000 euros. The minimum, giving all the lessons together. And it's so unfortunate they don't recognize our license classes in Ghana and in most of the African countries. I had the highest class of license in Ghana. When I came, I had to change it for a license B, a beginner here. But out of the 3,000, I paid 1,350. Why? Because I already had the knowledge, and so there was no need for me to take up all of these courses. Again, when it was time for me to do my bus and my truck license, I was asked to do about 98 driving hours, which translates to 45 minutes per hour. Out of the 98, I did only about 33 driving hours. So imagine you're paying 50 euro per hour and you're doing 98. Do the maths yourself and see how much money you're spending. That is just on the practical part of it. Your theory exams is not there yet. Your monies you're paying for your theory, monies you're paying for this, for the registration of the whole program, for your medicals here and there. All these are not part. You end up spending about 15,000 euros just on acquiring a truck license or a bus license. So then you can slash it off a bit if you already have the knowledge, like I did. So it is very, very good, and it applies not just to the driving sector, but to almost every sector. If you already know something, and then you travel outside, you only don't save money, it saves you time. It saves you the stress of being a rookie, going through all of this, because you already know what you're about. You get promoted quickly. It's always a nice thing, doing something you love. For me, I always say, it's not about the money. Yes, we're working for money to survive, but it's not about the money. If you work and you're happy with what you do, if you're so content with what you do, whatever you get, you're appreciative of it. You're content with the money you make. And that is where you make money. You make money and you don't even know you're making money. Because you wake up, you go to work happy. You're happy doing what you're doing. Walk into a lot of offices now. You go there and people are just marking time till it's 5. Once it's 5, they close, they come out of the office and you see smiles on their face. They go home. When they wake up in the morning and they're all frowned up. You see them in traffic, you meet them in cars, and the slightest thing causes agitation. Why? Because they don't like what they're doing. They're only doing it because they have to earn a meaningful life for themselves. That is why we have a lot of nurses killing patients, and a typical example would be the alleged Koda case. And I mean the alleged Koda case, where he was given an overdose of drug. Doctors are killing people. We have bad policemen in the system. We have bad military men in the system. We have bad people in the system, bad professionals in the system. Because they don't love what they do. They're only doing it because they need a secure source of income and they can fall on something. At the end of the month, whether they like or not, their money will come. Bad teachers. This is why you walk into a government office, and it's more rampant in the government sector. You walk into a government office and sometimes you even say to yourself, for some of us, we are bold enough, we don't mind telling whoever that, look, if you're not happy doing whatever you're doing, just quit your job, go and stay home or find something else to do. Because you can't be here and you're supposed to provide a simple service, and because you don't like what you do, you just do anything anyhow. This is why we find people like that everywhere. And it's a national problem that is affecting the nation. Why? Because they didn't get the right guidance when they were about to make some of these life-changing career decisions. And they followed the same old monotonous, bogus system into the ditch. And they're still forcing their kids to go through the same system into the ditch. Yes, I'm not saying being a lawyer is bad, being a doctor is bad. Being a nurse is bad, or being a policeman or a military man is bad, or being a teacher is bad. But is that what you really want to do, or you're being forced into it? Or you're going into it because you feel there are no jobs, and so you want to secure a stable source of income? Yes, there are no jobs. Have you ever heard a mechanic complain of not getting what to eat? Have you ever heard a mechanic complain of going home with an empty stomach? Have you ever heard the spare parts dealer at Abosokai say, today they didn't even buy anything. Today he couldn't sell anything. Have you heard of something like that before? Times are hard, but people are still building. You see construction workers go to work all the time. Or when you're home and your pipe system gets a problem, you call on a plumber to come fix it for you. When your meter has a problem, you call on an electrician to come fix it for you. Why? Because they have a skill. So no matter how difficult the system is, they will definitely have something to take home as ends meet. What about you? What about you? Do you have to rely on some government salary? Nurses are complaining their salaries are not coming for the past 2-3 months. Yes. It's because you don't have a skill. Have a skill in addition to what you do. This is what we're talking about. We're not against any other career. No, we're not. But then, we're saying have a skill to whatever degree, whatever you have. Know what you want to do. And then spend some time, sacrifice about 2 years of your life to learn something. You should always have a plan B. Like Lily you say, always have a plan B. What if A doesn't work? Are you going to sit idle? What if A doesn't work? So these are the things we talk about, that we are trying to challenge ourselves. We're trying to challenge ourselves. Gone are the days where, level 200 are the polytechnic levels. You have companies coming to you to come and employ you directly, to go and do internships. After the internships, later when you're done and due for your service, you come and do your service with them, and then they retain you. Why? Because they know you've been through the system. You know what you're about. You know the basics. You know everything that has to do with problem solving. You can be on your own if they want you to be, and you can also work in a team. Now you come out and you have all of these companies, annoying companies. After doing your service for 1 year, you have all these annoying companies telling you they need an experience level of a minimum of 2 years. Where are you getting the experience level from? Where? You went to do all these reading subjects. Once in your long back, you go and do 2 or 3 months of internship. How did you build that 2 years of working experience? A lot of you doing internships are PAs to somebody at somebody's office, or your clerks to the secretary or something. What exactly did you learn there? Were you taught, add this to that, put it together, you get this? Were you taught that? No. Because they don't teach those things. You get this knowledge right from the technical parts of life. So yes, it's good to go into all of these things. It's good to do the reading subject. It's good to follow the norm. But sometimes project yourself into the future. And like we see now, we can all tell about 60% of graduates are home. It's not like they don't know, or when you put them in positions they can't deliver. They can equally do. But where are the jobs? Imagine all these 60% are translated into technicality. Imagine the kind of production we would be meeting in this country, we would be giving in this country. Imagine the kind of productivity, the kind of services we would be rendering in this country. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. For people who even want to go into mainstream driving like I am doing, there are a lot of programs with the Metro Mars, there are a lot of programs with STC, there are a lot of programs with a lot of convert programs with the Ghana Army, a lot of them that you can go through normal driving with the driving schools. Once you're done, you enroll in any of these institutions. And there's even a program with Scania, which partners with AHK and GIZ, which are all German bodies. The German Commerce, German body of commerce. They partner with them, and in 2020, they undertook an all-female truck driving lessons for them, like training for 20 females. After they were done, they posted all of them to Ladybird Transport Company. That is an all-female tanker company in Takoradi, and they are working there. You see, it's all about acquiring yourself with a skill. What makes you different from all your other colleagues who are equally ready to work? What makes you different? Your skill set. So Kofi Amoaben, the former CEO of UT Company Limited, will tell you, aside his children going to all these big schools, the GIS, the AIS, and what have you not, the Lincoln Internationals and all, when they come on vacations, he sends them to some kind of trade to go and learn something. It's either you're learning shoemaking, you're learning how to sew, you learn something. That is the basic of what we're talking about. No, that's why we're talking about alternative career steps. Learn something. Sacrifice 2 years of your time to learn something. I sacrificed 2 years of my life to learn how to be a bus driver. I sacrificed a year of my life to learn how to drive a truck. We often look at the other parts of it. If I looked at the part of it where my friends used to laugh at me, then I wouldn't have done it. Because my friends used to see me as, oh, that bright kid, that brilliant kid. Now he's learning a trade. They made it feel like learning a trade is some kind of useless act. But I'm profiting from it today. And where are they? Where are they? You get my point. So it's all about learning something. Learn something. You see, the problem is we all want to be the lawyers, the doctors, and nurses, join the military and the police just because we want to earn a fixed salary. But we don't have passion for what we do. And so we're not able to think indigenously, we're not able to think productively. And it's a big problem. It's a big problem. It's a really big problem. I mean, who is going to look down on you if you have all of these training with certificates to back them? As a heavy-duty truck driver, as a civil engineer, or a civil technician, or as an automotive engineer, or a motor vehicle technician, and you speak some good English. You don't need to be perfect. You just need the good English, not perfect. How many people speak good English that are productive in this country? It's just about. Sorry. How many people speak perfect English that are productive in this country? You just need that good English. Just be able to speak and have the knowledge. That is all. That is all you need. That is all you need. I'm saying this not to the fact that, learning a trade is for, or going through the other route is for people with low IQs. It's hard time we challenged the system. It's hard time the smart people also jumped on board and went through this, because this channel is the channel that fetches you money. This is a channel that takes good care of you. This is the channel that makes you who you are. That you don't fear any layoff from any kind of job. This is a channel that you always have a stable stream of work coming through. You always have stable job doing. There's no technician who has been home for a long time without working in, unless the person is not serious, or the person doesn't want to work, or the person has other things doing. Trust me. So we have to change our mindsets, and it starts with us as parents, and then us as older siblings advising our younger siblings and the generation now to go into a sector that can help them in the future, and stop all these nonsense of a syllabus and nonsense of a career journey we've all followed into the same ditch. A lot of us regret what we even did in schools. A lot of us. For instance, you do geography now. Which agency in Ghana is going to employ you with your geography? The Ghana Meteorological Agency is not even capable enough. They can't even employ the numbers. So who is going to employ you? And a lot of geologists we know, the few ones we know, are with the mining sectors. The mining sectors need not more than 5 geologists or geologists. They don't need more than them. Everything is now digital. What are you going to do with the geography you studied at the tertiary level? What? So let's analyze something, right? And I'm not limiting this alone to students who have gone through the tertiary level, the technical background alone, or to high school students. I'm expanding this to even us who are done with the high school and have gone through the universities. A lot of you come out with flying colors, and what are you told from the universities? Maybe you did your science at school, you want to do medicine, and because you got just one B2 out of all the straight A's you got, just one B2, the university is telling you, my friend, you can't have medicine as a first choice. Therefore, we'll give you maybe dentistry, maybe chemistry, maybe pharmacy, and we settle for it. Or nursing, we settle for it regardless. A lot of us do that. But the goal was to be a doctor, and they are stuck there in that same profession because they don't know what to do. Look, do something you are passionate about, right? Don't go and sit at the pharmacy and tell me, oh, I wanted to do medicine and I couldn't get there. That is why I ended up with pharmacy. I wanted to do medicine, I couldn't get there. That's why I ended up as a lab technician. It's an insult to your personality. You're insulting yourself. You're insulting yourself. No. How do you wake up, you see doctors every time, and then deep down your soul, you feel like you've really done yourself necessary evil by not meeting that career standard you have always wished and wanted to meet? How do you feel? Whereas there are a lot of opportunities you could have gone by just to meet the same target. And I'll give you one of them, or probably two of them. So you want to do medicine, and the university is telling you, because of your B or because of your grades, you can't have access to do medicine. What do? Go through nursing, which is a 3-year program. Go through the 3-year program, the 3 years program. After your 3 years, do 1 year service or work 1 year. Then becomes 4 years. Now enroll in a program called physician assistantship, and there are schools all over. There's even one in Kintampo that does that. The health sciences and allied schools, they do these programs. Physician assistantship. So after your nursing of 4 years, do your physician assistantship for 3 years. That is 7 good years. Because you're already working and you already have the experience, after the physician assistantship, you can do a top-up to end you there as a doctor. And it shouldn't take more than 2 years for that. And so you have roughly between 8 to 9 years. Take out the working experience, you have 8 years of studies. Add the working experience, you have 9 years. The same person who went to do a straight medicine, together with his housemanship, did 7 good years. When both of you stand on the same scale, looking for job to do, applying for jobs, they would consider you any day, anytime over the fresh doctor. Why? Because you have a nursing background, you have a physician assistantship background, and mind you, the physician assistantship is something similar to a doctor who is in the surgery rooms. In fact, they have access to the surgery rooms also, and the consulting rooms. And you also have a background as a doctor. And so on every level, you are even highly equipped than the freshly passed out doctor who just finished his housemanship. The risk here is you spend more time, which is about 2 years more, which is the same thing. And it's even cheaper than doing a straight medicine course or human biology course at the university. We end up spending so much, between 80,000 to about 250,000 on studies alone, and we come out and we are useless. We can't do anything. We are so useless. Why? Because the programs we studied and where we wanted to be and the courses we were given, just threw us off what we had wanted to do. And another example I would want to even give you is the example of the pilots. You want to be a pilot, yes. You want to fly a plane. We have about 2 or 3 private pilot training schools in Ghana. But back then, there was nothing. But how did people go through the system? That's today they call themselves pilot. Go through either aerospace engineering. That is one of them. You can go to a mechanical engineering program, or an MVT for mechanical engineering. You can go to motor vehicle technician, mechanical engineering. Then you progress from there, you go through the aerospace engineering program. Then once you land a job, you can start and then you can rise through the ranks like that and then take up courses as a flight dispatcher and on and on and on. You don't necessarily have to look for a whole piloting course. If you're not getting a piloting course, there are a lot of courses you can take that will land you equally there. Most importantly, it's for you to start off somewhere in the airport. So you can even start off with project management. You can start off with cargo handling. You can start off with freight forwarding for air cargo. You can start off with airport operations. You can start off with ground operations. And all of these will take you there, even cabin crew. There are lots of IATA courses that will still take you there. You need the step. You need the basis. So find yourself something that can land you a job within the airport. Once you're within the airport, there are a lot of courses you can do. A lot of courses. If you do the airport operations, you can work in there on the flight as an operation. You can start off somewhere as a runway operations guy, where you'd use a pickup on the runway to check if everything is okay. You start from there and then you progress, you study further, you take the courses up there. Before you notice, you're already there. So let's not always limit ourselves within the confines of, okay, I want to get to A. So at all costs, I have to be at A. If I don't get a straight channel to A, then there's no way I'm getting to A. That is a mediocre way of thinking. There are a lot of ways around to success. A lot of alternative ways around to success. You don't always have to go through the same old system that has been a mental challenge for us. So, in bringing my conclusion to an end, I would like to say that I can go on and on and on with various alternatives you probably haven't even thought of about. That can lead you to the same target and make you even more valuable, market ready, and equipped at any given point in time to work and not depend on this useless system. You should be useful in every given situation, regardless of the situation you find yourself in. And that is where my advocacy for skill learning comes in, by using alternative choices to arrive at the same dream and target. Take this from me. It is only at your highest point, when you are happy with what you do professionally, that you can make good money, be fulfilled, and live in the reality of your dreams. Just like Dr. Quarantine always says, you have to be fulfilled. What is the fulfillment of life? If you're working and you're not working in an environment where you're happy because you're not doing what you're happy with, you die quickly, you kill yourself quickly. So at this point, I would just yield the mic for any further questions. If there are no questions, then my last remarks would be that we have to change this mentality of ours. It's time for us to advocate for skill over book knowledge that fetches us nothing. For skill over knowledge that brings us to where we are, that still keeps us where we are. And this is the main reason why we're still a developing country. If we have the knowledge and then the skill to push up that knowledge, it doesn't matter where you find yourself, you would excel. And most importantly, is for you to be able to navigate your way around alternative career choices to get to that road of success. Thank you very much for your time, and I appreciate your listening ear that you gave me today. Till then, thank you.
Wow, Wow. That was an amazing presentation by all standards. James, thank you very much for making time out your busy schedule to share your knowledge on this topic with us. At this juncture, ladies and gentlemen, we'll bring up to a close. And I've been your host, and my name is Enoch Chanimbe. I did this with Lily Ifa. Make time with us each and every 2 weeks on Empower 360 so we can delve into different dimensions of lifelong learning. Empower 360. We give purpose and enlightenment to humanity. Thank you, and bye-bye.